welcome to week 12 of the college football season. My name is Mike Browning. I'm the host of the College Football Road Trip at CFBRoadTrip.com. I'm coming to you this week from Columbia, South Carolina, where I'll be going to this weekend's Missouri at South Carolina game. That should be a really good game between two ranked teams. Second straight game I'm at between two ranked teams, so that's really cool. I'm excited to do some fun things in South Carolina over the next week and a half. This week, South Carolina. Next week, we'll be at Coastal Carolina for the game against Georgia Southern. In the meantime, not a whole lot of great games this week. There are two ranked versus ranked matchups, including the one I will be going to here in Columbia. So with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into this week's picks. And we're going to start off with a game out of the Big 12. We have Baylor traveling to West Virginia. Baylor is a team that's kind of turned things around over the past few weeks. They have won 3 in a row, which is really impressive. On the flip side, you have a West Virginia team who was able to overcome Cincinnati last week. That was a game that went back and forth down to the wire. West Virginia found a way to win. Although Baylor has looked good, I think West Virginia is just a little bit better, and they are the home team in this one, which gives them that edge that I'm always looking for. So with that said, I have West Virginia winning at home over Baylor. Next, let's go to an American matchup. We have 25th ranked Tulane traveling to Navy. Tulane is a team that's undefeated in American play. Their only 2 losses are very early in the season to Kansas State and to Oklahoma. On the flip side, you have a Navy team who looked great the first part of the year, but then they got to a Notre Dame game. They were kind of exposed. They lost another game after that. They did win over South Florida last week pretty convincingly. So this should still be a pretty good game. With all that said, Tulane just has too much going for them in the American Conference. I think they'll stay undefeated in conference play and easily make it to the conference championship game. I have Tulane winning on the road at Navy. Next, let's go to an SEC matchup. We have 22nd ranked LSU traveling to Florida. LSU is a team that was doing pretty decent after their early week 1 loss to USC. But over the past couple of weeks, they have struggled, albeit against 2 ranked teams. On the flip side, you have a Florida team. They have lost 3 of 4, but if you looked at those 3 losses, all 3 of those losses were to teams that were ranked in the top 10. So Florida has just had a horrible schedule. LSU is still the better team of these 2 teams, however, so even though they're going on the road and playing in Gainesville, I think that they will finally bounce back from their last 2 losses. So I have LSU winning on the road at Florida in SEC play. Moving on to the ACC, we have number 20 Clemson traveling to Pitt. Clemson is coming off a kind of humiliating loss against Louisville last week. I thought Clemson was going to be the team that went undefeated in conference play, but they proved me wrong with their big loss against Louisville last week. On the other side, you have a Pittsburgh team who went through the first half of this season looking great, undefeated, but these last 2 weeks have both been losses to them, but to SMU and to Virginia. So the question is, which one of these teams is going to bounce back? Clemson still has a chance to make it to the ACC championship game, even with their loss last week. They're tied with Miami after their loss. So either Clemson or Miami will get in to likely play SMU unless SMU just falls apart in the last couple weeks of this season. So Clemson has to win this game. I think they will be able to bounce back. I have Clemson winning on the road at Pitt in ACC play. Let's go to another Big 12 matchup. We have Arizona State traveling to 16th ranked Kansas State. Arizona State is a team that has surprised a lot of people this year. I believe they're 7-2 on the year. I don't think anybody really saw that coming. I think they were predicted to be in the lower third of the Big 12 conference rankings this year. But they are coming off a win over UCF last week. On the other side, you have a Kansas State team, also 7-2 with 2 losses in conference play. But they're coming off a pretty embarrassing loss against Houston last week. That's a game that Kansas State should not be losing if they want to try to make it to the Big 12 championship game. Right now, they're on the outside looking in, but a couple things could happen. Either the BYU and Colorado and Kansas State could sneak back in, or Arizona State if they happen to win this game. But I do think the Wildcats will have a little bit too much, and they are the home team in this one. I have Kansas State winning at home over Arizona State in Big 12 play. Next, let's go to a Mountain West matchup. We have number 13 Boise State traveling to San Jose State. Boise State is having a great year. Their one loss against Oregon is looking better and better every week as Oregon continues to impress. San Jose State is coming off a big win over Oregon State on the road last week, but they're just not a very good team. Boise State did struggle against a pretty lowly Nevada team last week. So the question is, will they continue to struggle against teams they shouldn't last week, like they did last week, or will they be able to bounce back? I think they will bounce back. I think they want to show the dominance. I think they want to show that they deserve to be in the playoffs at the end of the year, assuming that they can win out. They have to win this week to do that, obviously. I have Boise State winning on the road at San Jose State in Mountain West play. Next, let's go to an ACC matchup against Notre Dame. We have Virginia traveling to 8th-ranked Notre Dame this week. Virginia is coming off a big win over Pitt last week, although it is Pitt's second straight loss, so maybe it's not quite as impressive as it would have been a couple weeks ago. On the other side, you have a Notre Dame team that has just been beating everybody that they have come up against in a dominant fashion ever since their embarrassing loss to Northern Illinois in week 2 of the season. And over the last 2 weeks, they have scored 50-plus points. They just have everything going together. They're looking great offensively. Their defense is in good shape. Like I said, they're blowing people out. I think that will continue this week. Nevada might be able to keep it close for a quarter or so, but Notre Dame's going to have way too much. I have Notre Dame winning at home over Virginia. Going back to another SEC matchup, we have 3rd-ranked Texas traveling to Arkansas. This is one of those games that is now possible due to Texas being in the SEC, an old Southwestern Conference rivalry between these two teams. Arkansas is coming off 2 straight blowout losses to LSU and Ole Miss ever since their upset over Tennessee a few weeks ago. Texas finally looked really good last week after their loss to Georgia a few weeks ago, the struggle against Vanderbilt. They put it all together against Florida last week. I think that Texas is back on track. Arkansas is just not going to be the high-quality team that Texas will struggle against. I think Texas will pull away pretty easily in the second half. I have Texas winning on the road at Arkansas in SEC play. Our next SEC matchup is our first ranked versus ranked matchup. We have number 7 Tennessee traveling to number 12 Georgia. So Tennessee is looked good over the past few weeks. Ever since their upset loss to Arkansas, they have now won their last 4, including a couple games against ranked teams. So they have really kind of put things back together. On the other side, you have Georgia. Georgia is coming off probably their biggest loss, at least regular season loss in years, against Ole Miss last week. They just did not look good in that game. Props to Ole Miss for that big win. The question is that because Ole Miss played so well or Georgia just isn't that great? Georgia has a chance of just totally missing out on the playoffs this year if they don't find a way to win out, at least in the regular season, to try to get into the top 12. They're playing at home in this one. I think they want to be able to bounce back after the big loss at Ole Miss last week. This is going to be a close game. It's going to go into the fourth quarter. I think Georgia being at home, coming off the loss last week, they're going to put things together to be able to squeeze this one out over the Vols. I have 12th-ranked Georgia winning at home over 7th-ranked Tennessee. And then finally, our final game this week, the game that I will be at, another SEC matchup between 2 ranked teams. We had 23rd-ranked Missouri versus 21st-ranked South Carolina. Missouri is coming off their win against Oklahoma last week, a game that they probably should not have won. They were down 23-16 late, found a way to get a touchdown, found a way to get the scoop and score to get the win. So huge win. But on the other side, you have the South Carolina team that has really just put everything together over the past few weeks. They have won 3 games in a row. All of them have been by 21 points or more. I think that they will be able to pull out a fourth win this week. I don't think it will be a blowout. I think they'll be close into the third or fourth quarter. But South Carolina is on the streak. They seem to have been able to put things together. They will be able to pull off the win. I have 21st ranked South Carolina winning at home over 23rd ranked Missouri. So again, that's the game I'll be at this week. I'm excited to be here in Columbia. Be sure to check out the things that will be going on. Check out my Instagram feed for pictures from the game. I'll be obviously writing about everything I do in my blog post in a couple weeks from now. In the meantime, go enjoy the Week 12 games, everyone, and we'll talk to all of you again next week.